They've made their bed. Now it's time to lie in it. Every company was like, DI, we need black people. Let's get black people out there. Let's show them we love them. Of course they did. They fell prey to the propaganda and they didn't realize what their customer base actually wanted. Hey, let's put a black in it. What music do we do? Hey, I know. Let's do rap music because black people like rap music. You're stupid, Ubisoft. What the fuck are you thinking? Who's making decisions over there for you? If they're activists, get the activists the fuck out of there. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Lee, aka The Perfect Sage, and today we're talking Ubisoft yet again. Last video I made about Ubisoft, I didn't think I'd be making another one because I said they kept stepping in. I thought that kind of was as bad as it was going to get for them. I was wrong. I'll admit it, I was wrong. Star Wars Outlaws sold only 1 million copies in the month since it was launched. As of right now, I think it's safe to say that is a flop. This would explain why they are panicking so much on social media when it comes to things they release for the players on Star Wars Outlaws, as well as the delay and some of the other rumors when it comes to Assassin's Creed. Now, we've already reported, and you know that Assassin's Creed was delayed. It was delayed to February 2025, right? Well, there's rumors now that that's only a date that they're holding, a placeholder, essentially, that they feel it's going to be pushed back even further than that. And two, that Yasuke was not the original male protagonist, that the original male protagonist was, in fact, a Japanese samurai. Now, that's impossible, you say. Yeah, that's impossible. I mean, Ubisoft always planned for this to be this way, right? Because he was the best person for this role. That's what they said. That, you know, he was easy for them to tell a story with. I mean, we saw their press releases and stuff they put out on Twitter, but it looks like that was not true. Now, I didn't think it was true, but after reading this article, I definitely think it was true. So let's start with the delay and why that's quite possibly a placeholder for them. A YouTuber by the name of Indymion, or Indymion, however you pronounce his name, apologize, I suck at that. A source told him that 2025 is simply a placeholder release date. Apparently that's because Ubisoft is scrambling and they need certain key talent in order to assist on a Q2 game release. So understand, your talent can only work on so much at one time. And they had already planned for this game to be released. So I think it was originally planned to be released in October. So if they have a Q2 game release coming up, all the talent that's working on Assassin's Creed Shadows, there's a good chance a portion of that, if not all of that, was planned to have been moved over to work on this other game. And the fact that they realized the state that Assassin's Creed Shadows was in and they've had to push it back, well, that talent you wanted to work on the new Q2 game release can also work on Assassin's Creed still at the same time. Their theory here, what they're saying, is that Assassin's Creed Shadow will be pushed back even further. That way you avoid overworking your talent, and your talent can only work on so much at one time, right? So once this Q2 game release is done, then they'll move over and start working on a new Assassin's Creed game. So yeah, that's another L for Ubisoft. It's like I tell my kids all the time, do the job right the first time and you won't have to redo it, right? Same thing. That's basically what's going on here. So then they also said that the source told him the game originally featured a Japanese male protagonist. I was also told when they originally saw the game, there was indeed a male Japanese protagonist with their own finalized art and even animations. I don't know how far along the path you finalize that stuff, if it's really early on or not, but the fact that they had finalized art and animations for this Japanese protagonist meant that they were sold on going this route. So what changed? They don't know if this character will be reintroduced to replace Yasuke. It won't be, at least not to replace Yasuke. But they are skeptical that Ubisoft will actually remove Yasuke altogether due to the whole political, backlash they'll get from journalists and so on. Exactly. The moment they walk Yasuke out there as the face of Assassin's Creed Shadows, there's no way they'll be able to remove him. Now, they might be able to diminish his role because nobody outside of the company knows how big his role is. But if they do that, and you have activists inside the company, it's going to come out. And if it comes out, they're going to have hell on their hands. They are stuck with Yasuke and whatever happens because of it. They've made their bed. Now it's time to lie in it. But you're like, why is this true? This can't be true, right? No, come on, Lee. There's no way this is true. As for when this Japanese male protagonist was sidelined, the game did first include a male Japanese main character, but they swapped sometime during 2020, according to my source, for Yasuke instead. Aha! Now we know. This rumor is true. It has to be. Okay? I mean, unless they're outright lying, but I don't see that being the case. And here's why I think this is true. Something happened in 2020, if you're not familiar with that. Let me just show you what it was. George Floyd. But this guy died in 2020. Now, you can talk about whether it was the cops or whether he OD'd, you know, that's a story for a different day. I'm not going to get into that. We all know what really happened. But this was in May 2020. And that's when they switched him. Because during that time, they had already been pushing this whole DI stuff. There's already been people trying to push this whole race narrative, right? But when he died, for whatever reason, it exploded. I mean, this DEI stuff just went everywhere. Every company was like, DEI, we need black people. Let's get black people out there. Let's show them we love them. And that's what they were doing. You can agree with it or not, but that's a fact. That's what they were doing. This whole DEI stuff exploded during 2020. You had the 2020 riots where they went through and they burned down, you know, streets. They killed people. I mean, it was not good. Now, you won't hear the media referring to it as that way because it was mostly peaceful, according to CNN. But this time frame of when they switched and what was taking place during that time frame is definitely why I think this is true. When asked why Ubisoft chose Yasuke over this male character, they said that Ubisoft was heavily influenced by the socio-political events. See, I haven't even read this part yet. I stopped at this paragraph here before I made the video. I hadn't even read this. So the second paragraph, I'm telling you, I knew it. They said that Ubisoft was heavily influenced by the socio-political events of the time with stuff like, and no, I'm not kidding, George Floyd dying, the riots of Black Lives Matter exploding in support. Ubisoft may have opted to include Yasuke in order to pander to identity politics because of Black Lives Matter. Listen, this is what gamers have been trying to tell you. YouTubers have been trying to tell you. You pander to identity politics, it will eventually bite you in the butt and you will suffer for it. That is not how you make games. That is not how you make TV shows. People will start seeing what you're doing and they will stop tuning in to whatever it is you're making. A game, movie, TV show. Just ask Star Wars. See how well that's working for them right now. So his source also shared with him that Ubisoft was horrified by the response to Yasuke from the fandom, and they actually thought including him would be a really big selling point for the game. Of course they did. They fell prey to the propaganda, and they didn't realize what their customer base actually wanted. Why in the world would you make a game based in Japan and put a black guy in it? You should have just stuck with Japanese protagonists like you've done for every other Assassin's Creed game that you've made. Every game you've made, the location that it's been, your protagonists have been from that location. And then you lie about his background and say he was some legendary samurai when that wasn't even the case. You're stupid, Ubisoft. What the fuck are you thinking? Who's making decisions over there for you? If they're activists, get the activists the fuck out of there. Make the games for your gamers, not for Twitter, not for games journalists. Don't try to go for, virtue points. Don't try to show people, oh, look how much we care. Get the fuck out of here. Come on now. They apparently believed by inserting Yasuke that they could garner and pander to the modern audience. How well did the modern audience work for Concord? How well did the modern audience work for the Suicide Squad kill the Justice League? It's not. Both of those games are considered a flop. Hell, Concord didn't even last a week. The modern audience doesn't exist to a level that can support a AAA game. Maybe if you're a single A like indie dev that works on it by themselves or maybe with another person and you hardly spend any money on the game, sure, maybe then the modern audience can support you. There's not enough of them. Twitter is not real life when it comes to the modern audience. You need to start just making games for the people who will actually buy and play the game, not for the people who will write articles about it or do reviews for it. Because critic reviews, the gamers don't pay attention to. In fact, they hate, they despise, they abhor these people. Make games for the players. Wait for player reviews or look at player reviews. See what they're asking for. See what they're wanting from your previous game. Make a game that's based on those reviews. What players liked, what they didn't like. Not what critics think is important. Critics don't have the same criteria that the gamers have when it comes to reviewing a game. If you're listening to critics, you are wrong. Period. This is why I think this rumor is true, because it makes sense. It 100% makes sense. Interestingly, one of the sources also provided information on why Ubisoft decided to delay the game. The thing that actually spooked Ubisoft more than anything else was how Japan reacted to the one-legged Tory Gate figurine. I made a video on this as well. They did not like this at all. Look, that one Tory Gate is a symbol for them because it survived the bombing, the atomic bombs that were dropped by the US on Japan during World War II. It survived. It is a shrine. It's very important to them. It matters a lot. And you're sitting there and insulting it, essentially. That's the way they view it. Whether you intended it or not, that's what happened. And this culturally devastating piece that proved that Ubisoft was not adequate enough to make the game or really know anything about the time period, it led to the higher-ups admitting defeat and demanding that the game get a cultural do-over, if you will. They wanted things to be more authentic because the one-legged Tory Gate incident was so embarrassing and baffling that they didn't want anything else like that to happen again in their history. Listen, you make a game in other countries or based in other countries, you have to get it somewhat accurate based on the time frame that you're making this game. If you're putting this in historical Japan, then whatever time frame of historical Japan this game is in, you need someone who is an expert, not an activist, someone who is an expert on that time frame, and make sure that whatever you're doing is accurate and that you're not accidentally insulting the culture of that nation. Listen, China, Japan, unfortunately, the US is not one of these groups of people anymore. They are very big on their cultural identity. You can easily insult them if you don't know what you're doing. My thought is, I'm like, damn, if they screwed up this badly for this game, how badly did they screw up for these other games? And the people in those nations just didn't know or just didn't care. I mean, it makes me wonder at this point, right? They should have had someone on staff that was not an activist that can make sure this game was culturally accurate, was culturally authentic, and would not insult the people of Japan. And they didn't do that. And they stepped in. With this game, they keep stepping in it more and more and more. And I'm telling you, this game is almost to the point where I will say it's dead on arrival. I'm telling you, I can't see it doing anything other than what Star Wars Outlaws did. Just bombing, flopping. He also shared that sources informed him that the rap music, which was featured in early promotional videos for the game, is being removed from the final product. Thank you, because that's such a racist thing to do. Hey, let's put a black in it. What music do we do? Hey, I know. Let's do rap music because black people like rap music. Listen, he's not an American black guy, okay? He's from like Africa and he's living in Japan at this point in time. I would imagine if the guy was listening to any music, it would be the traditional Japanese music from that time period. It would be rap. One of the things for sure getting removed from Shadows, according to my sources, is indeed the rap hip-hop music for Yasuke. Apparently, Ubisoft brought out a questionnaire, and they were unanimously told that the rap music was tonally wrong and completely unneeded. They needed a questionnaire to tell them that? Are you fucking kidding me? Who are these people? I mean, seriously. That it was actually offensive that Ubisoft believed Yasuke needed a hip-hop battle theme in a game that was set well before such music existed, and it was only implemented because Yasuke was black. So that's going to be gone for sure. Thank you. Thank you. The fact that these people at Ubisoft couldn't understand what they were doing, I'm just telling you, it's this game. This game, at this point, it doesn't matter what they do to it. It's dead. It is done for. There's nothing they can do to make this game make money for them at this point. They need to take a long break before they come back out with any new Assassin's Creed. In fact, I think I heard rumors that they're doing a remake or a remaster of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and I'm scared to death that they're going to do that. That if they do that, they're going to change something and mess something up. It's... It also says they're going to be removing dialogue from the game that, according to my source, told me that it would actually enrage players if they heard it. What? I wasn't given concrete examples of what kind of dialogue, but the source assumed it may have been Yasuke saying some sort of socio-political pandering nonsense, that he was sold by white men or something, that he hates white men, white supremacy must be abolished, and such. You know, it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me one bit if something like that was in the game. And honestly, while I don't think it's going to make a difference at this point because they've shot themselves in the foot way too much with this game, they are smart for removing that. They're also removing this because, of course, if it were in the game, it would absolutely be highlighted and used to detract even more people from supporting the game in the future. Yes, because it makes no sense. Stuff like this is current day politics. I'm telling you, this game, I don't see it making money for Ubisoft at this point. The amount of work that they're going to have to go back and do, their budget's probably going to be blown. It's probably going to be a lot more expensive than it previously should have been. And then all this drama surrounding the game, it looks like the people who were crying about Yasuke to begin with were right. We were right. We saw through this, this veil of shadows that you try to put out there. We saw what you were doing. We called you out on it. And for all the backlash we got from these shills, Paul Talsi and all these other people from Kotaku, the Alyssa Mercantes and all these, we were right. So all you guys, if you ever watch Friends, you know what that means. All right, guys, listen, let me know what you think down in the comments. And is this game going to make any money? Is this game going to flop like Star Wars Outlaws did? Is Ubisoft in trouble? We'll find out. Hit the thumbs up on this video if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe for more content from this channel. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Love you guys very much. Have a good day.